In January 2014, a grim discovery rocked the small town of Brookhaven, Georgia. 18-year-old Heather Malone's body was found in a suburban living room, setting off alarms throughout the community. What at first seemed like a tragic accident soon unraveled into a tale of deep-seated jealousy and betrayal. Heather was a senior at Brookhaven High, well known and well liked as the lead cheerleader. But her bright public persona masked a troubled life at home, where stability and affection were in short supply. Her parents, consumed by their own issues, left Heather to navigate her teenage years mostly on her own. This background sets the stage for Heather's complex relationship with Nathan Ellis, the school's new basketball coach. Nathan, 28, was a hit both on and off the court, admired for his ability to connect with his players and for his seemingly perfect life with his wife, Hannah. But as Heather and Nathan grew closer, lines were crossed that should have stayed drawn. Our story dives into the hidden dynamics between Heather and Nathan, revealing a side of their relationship that spiraled out of control. What began as an innocent connection developed into an intense and dangerous liaison, shedding light on the darker aspects of their interactions and leading us to the heartbreaking conclusion of Heather's life. As we peel back the layers of this tragic case, we'll explore how a seemingly idyllic town became the backdrop for a story of loss and desperation, prompting us to question how well we truly know those around us and what secrets might be hiding behind closed doors. As the investigation into Heather Malone's death progressed, attention turned to Nathan Ellis, the well-liked basketball coach at Brookhaven High. Nathan had a knack for leadership and had quickly become a mentor to many at the school. However, his charm and approachability had unintended consequences when Heather, seeking someone to look up to, began to view him as more than just a coach. Their relationship, initially based on mutual respect and Nathan's natural inclination to help, gradually shifted as Heather began to depend more deeply on him. Her admiration for Nathan was evident, and it didn't take long for their interactions to grow more personal. Heather, grappling with her chaotic home life, found solace in Nathan's guidance and attention. However, Nathan, caught in the complexities of his new role and his marriage, failed to maintain professional boundaries. Their meetings became more frequent and private, crossing into emotional territories that blurred the lines between a student-teacher relationship and something far more intimate. This breach of trust marked the beginning of a series of events that would not only destroy multiple lives, but also bring to light the consequences of crossing professional boundaries in such sensitive dynamics. As we delve deeper into how their relationship developed, we will see how a connection that should have provided support and stability instead became the foundation for a devastating outcome. This part of the story prompts a broader discussion about the responsibilities and ethical considerations that those in positions of authority must uphold to prevent such tragedies. The consequences of Heather and Nathan's relationship began to emerge, impacting their personal lives significantly. Nathan's marriage started to suffer as he spent more time and emotional energy on Heather. His wife, Hannah, who was initially supportive of his career, began to feel the strain of his divided attentions. On the other hand, Heather, emboldened by Nathan's attentiveness, pushed for more closeness, blurring lines and creating a scenario ripe for conflict. The secrecy of the affair added a layer of tension and guilt to Nathan's life. He was torn between his loyalty to his wife and the increasingly demanding relationship with Heather. This internal conflict led to a decrease in his professional effectiveness and added stress to his personal life. Heather's demands grew more insistent, leading to reckless behaviors that jeopardized both their reputations. As we explore the fallout from their hidden interactions, we witness the unraveling of Nathan's previously stable life and Heather's escalation from infatuation to obsession. This segment of the story illustrates the destructive power of emotional entanglements when boundaries are ignored, showing the ripple effects on the lives of all involved. It serves as a critical turning point in our narrative, setting the stage for the more tragic elements yet to unfold. Heather's growing obsession with Nathan reached a tipping point as her behavior became increasingly possessive and erratic. She began to demand more of his time and attention, often sending him messages late into the night. This relentless pursuit began to alarm Nathan, who realized the situation was spiraling out of control. Heather, unable to accept the limitations of their relationship, refused to back down, leading to more intense confrontations. The tension between them peaked when Heather witnessed Nathan's interactions with his wife, Hannah, at school events. Seeing the affection they shared ignited a jealous rage in Heather, driving her to contemplate extreme measures to remove what she saw as obstacles to her happiness. Her jealousy manifested in dangerous schemes, including a chilling incident where she attempted to harm Hannah in an effort to sever her ties with Nathan. This part of the story not only highlights the depths of Heather's obsession, but also marks a crucial moment of realization for Nathan. It forces him to confront the consequences of their ill-advised liaison and the potential harm it could cause to more than just their lives. This escalation foreshadows the tragic events that are soon to unfold, underscoring the dire outcomes of unchecked emotional turmoil. Heather's unchecked emotions culminated in a drastic and horrifying act. In a desperate attempt to assert control and assert her presence in Nathan's life, she poisoned Hannah's drink during an unsuspecting visit to their home. This shocking act resulted in Hannah suffering a miscarriage, a devastating blow that shattered the couple's world and marked a point of no return for all involved. The consequences of Heather's actions were immediate and severe. Nathan, racked with guilt and anger, was forced to confront the reality of the damage caused by his indiscretions and Heather's subsequent breakdown. The community around them, once oblivious to the undercurrents of tension and deceit, was now faced with the tragic outcomes of this complex web of relationships. This segment of our story delves into the emotional and legal fallout following the poisoning incident. It serves as a stark reminder of how deeply personal vendettas can escalate into public tragedies, affecting not just the individuals directly involved, but also the wider community. It sets the stage for the ultimate resolution of the narrative, where each character must face the consequences of their actions. Following the poisoning incident, Heather's desperation reached new heights, leading to a final, violent confrontation. Feeling cornered and out of options, Heather armed herself and broke into Nathan's home, waiting for Hannah to return. The confrontation quickly escalated as Heather, consumed by rage and despair, confronted Hannah with accusations and threats, ultimately brandishing a firearm. The situation took a grim turn as police arrived on the scene, responding to a distress call. Heather, now completely unhinged, engaged in a standoff with law enforcement. In the heat of the moment, a shot was fired, resulting in a police officer's tragic death. This act of violence marked a point of no return, leading to Heather's fatal shooting by police, ending the standoff in a dramatic and bloody conclusion. This part of our narrative exposes the darkest depths of Heather's unraveling and the dire consequences of her actions. It illustrates the tragic end of a young woman driven to extremes by obsession and a lack of emotional support. This section not only wraps up the climactic events, but also sets the foundation for discussing the aftermath and the lasting impact on the community and the individuals involved. In the aftermath of the violent confrontation, the community of Brookhaven was left reeling. The shocking events led to intense media scrutiny and public outrage. Nathan's affair with Heather, once a private indiscretion, became a scandal that rocked the town. Parents and community members demanded his resignation, viewing him not only as a flawed mentor, but also as a catalyst for the tragedy that unfolded. Nathan, overwhelmed by guilt and the public backlash, resigned from his position and retreated from the public eye, seeking solace in anonymity. Meanwhile, Hannah, who survived the ordeal physically, struggled deeply with the emotional scars. The betrayal and the loss of their unborn child took a heavy toll on her, eventually leading her to file for divorce and move away from Brookhaven to start anew. This segment of the story reflects on the personal and communal consequences of the events. It explores how the individuals involved tried to find closure and healing, highlighting the broader implications of personal actions on community well-being. The narrative also touches on the themes of redemption and the challenges of moving forward after such profound personal and public losses. The ripple effects of the tragedy continued as Brookhaven High School and the local community sought ways to heal and learn from the painful events. Discussions about the boundaries between teachers and students gained prominence, sparking initiatives aimed at preventing similar incidents. The school implemented new training programs for staff to better recognize and handle situations that could lead to inappropriate relationships and emotional entanglements. Meanwhile, the story of Heather, Nathan, and Hannah became a case study in discussions about mental health and the importance of support systems for young people. Advocates highlighted Heather's background and the signs of her escalating distress, pointing out missed opportunities for intervention. This led to increased calls for mental health resources in schools and the community, emphasizing early detection and support for at-risk youth. This final segment of our narrative focuses on the legacy of the events at Brookhaven. It explores the community's efforts to turn a story of loss and despair into one of learning and prevention. By examining the changes implemented and the ongoing conversations about mental health and ethical behavior, the story underscores the community's commitment to ensuring such a tragedy never happens again. As Brookhaven gradually returned to a semblance of normalcy, the long-term impacts of the tragedy continued to echo throughout the town. The events reshaped the community's approach to dealing with crisis and tragedy, fostering a stronger network of communication and support among local organizations, schools, and families. There was a renewed commitment to creating a safer, more supportive environment for everyone, particularly the youth. The town held community healing sessions and workshops that focused on grief management and resilience. These initiatives helped to mend the social fabric torn by the events surrounding Heather, Nathan, and Hannah. Additionally, local leadership took steps to increase transparency and trust between the schools and the community, ensuring that parents felt more involved and informed about their children's education and welfare. This concluding part of our narrative reflects on the transformation within Brookhaven as it learned from its past. It highlights the community's dedication to not only recovering from its wounds, but also building back stronger. The story of Brookhaven serves as a reminder of the power of a community to overcome adversity through unity, reflection, and proactive change. The Brookhaven tragedy has left an indelible mark on the national consciousness, influencing broader discussions about the safety and well-being of students in educational environments across the country. It has sparked a movement towards more comprehensive safety protocols and the implementation of stricter guidelines for teacher-student interactions in schools nationwide. Policymakers and educators have come together to draft legislation aimed at protecting students and ensuring that educators are well equipped to manage the complex dynamics of teacher-student relationships. These new policies are being modeled in part on Brookhaven's post-tragedy reforms, which have been recognized for their effectiveness in fostering a safer educational environment. This broader narrative arc concludes with a look at the legacy of the Brookhaven events beyond its local impact. It underscores the transformative power of tragedy to catalyze national change, ensuring that the lessons learned from such painful experiences lead to substantial preventative measures that benefit societies at large. This story of reform and resilience offers a hopeful outlook on the potential for growth and improvement in the wake of adversity. As the national conversation continues to evolve, the focus has expanded to include not only preventative measures, but also the cultivation of a culture of empathy and understanding within schools. This cultural shift aims to address not just the symptoms of such tragedies, but their root causes, including mental health issues and social isolation. Educational institutions are now adopting more holistic approaches to student welfare, integrating emotional intelligence education into their curricula and providing spaces where students can express themselves safely and without judgment. These programs encourage students to engage in open dialogues about their experiences and feelings, promoting a more inclusive and supportive school environment. This final segment of our narrative emphasizes the progressive steps being taken to foster a compassionate educational atmosphere where every student feels valued and understood. It highlights the importance of these ongoing efforts in nurturing a generation that is not only academically proficient, but also emotionally resilient and empathetic. This commitment to comprehensive well-being is the ultimate lesson drawn from the Brookhaven story, pointing towards a future where such tragedies are increasingly preventable. With this comprehensive focus on emotional well-being and educational reform, there is a rising interest in developing community-wide support systems that extend beyond the school gates. Local governments, nonprofits, and parent groups are collaborating more closely to provide a network of support that encompasses mental health resources, family counseling, and community engagement programs. These initiatives aim to create a seamless support structure that ensures no individual feels isolated or without help. By strengthening community bonds and enhancing communication between various stakeholders, these efforts help mitigate the factors that can lead to crises like the one experienced in Brookhaven. As we conclude this series, the story of Brookhaven serves as a powerful reminder of the interconnectedness of individual, school, and community health. It underscores the ongoing commitment required to sustain these vital support networks, ensuring that the lessons learned from Brookhaven continue to inspire and guide communities everywhere towards fostering safer, more empathetic environments for all citizens. This broader adoption of interconnected support systems has catalyzed a push for national guidelines on community and school partnerships, focusing on holistic approaches to student health and safety. It has become a model for policy development, with educational experts and lawmakers working together to replicate these success stories across the nation. The dialogue has also inspired an increase in federal funding for programs that integrate mental health services with educational curricula, emphasizing the importance of a well-rounded approach to prevention and intervention. These initiatives are gaining traction as more evidence emerges of their effectiveness in promoting a healthy, balanced development for young individuals. Reflecting on the complete narrative from Brookhaven, it is evident that a tragedy has transformed into a catalyst for profound, positive change. The final takeaway is a vision of an educational system where every aspect of a student's well-being is addressed, creating not just safer schools, but healthier communities that can prevent, respond to, and heal from the challenges they face. This ongoing evolution marks a significant step forward in how societies approach and value the well-being of their younger generations. As this model of holistic education and community engagement is embraced at a national level, it sets a precedent for global standards in how societies support their youth. International organizations are now looking to these guidelines as benchmarks for their own educational systems, fostering a worldwide movement towards more inclusive and supportive environments for students. This global perspective encourages countries to share insights, strategies, and successes in educational and mental health reforms. Such international collaboration enhances the ability to address the complex needs of young people in diverse cultural contexts, helping to build a global community committed to the welfare of its next generation. Thus, the story that began in a small town like Brookhaven transcends national boundaries, influencing global policies and practices. It underscores the universal need for compassion, understanding, and proactive care in nurturing young minds and spirits. This broad impact highlights the potential for local actions to inspire worldwide change, demonstrating how deeply interconnected our global community is when it comes to shaping a healthier future for all children. This global shift towards prioritizing student well-being has spurred the development of innovative programs and tools that utilize technology to enhance mental health support in educational settings. New software and apps are being developed to provide real-time support to students, allowing for early detection and intervention in mental health issues. These technologies also facilitate better communication between educators, students, and parents, ensuring that everyone involved in a student's education is informed and engaged. The adoption of these technologies is not just about intervention, but also about building resilience and fostering a proactive approach to mental health. Schools are integrating these tools into their daily routines, making mental health care a regular part of the educational experience rather than a stigma or an afterthought. As we wrap up our examination of the transformations initiated by the events in Brookhaven, it's clear that the legacy of this tragedy is driving a reimagining of educational paradigms. The narrative has shifted from reactive measures to proactive inclusivity and support, paving the way for a future where education is synonymous with comprehensive care and holistic development. This evolution in approach is a testament to the power of community innovation and the relentless pursuit of improvement in how we nurture our youth.